you present yourself to the camera?
Certainly. My name is John Cardigan. I'm the Director of Operations for North Baltimore Aquatic Club. I've been a swim coach since 1980, and I've been working here as the General Manager at Meadowbrook since 1989.
So first we'd like to know what your swimmers train with.
Primarily the suits that they practice with on a daily basis are a combination of polyester and lycra. So it's a stretchy fabric. It allows for a close fit against the skin. Primarily the boys wear the briefs, which are the small, what most people call Speedos, and the girls obviously just wear a regular suit. Their training suits are a little heavier in weight than their performance suits. The performance suits tend to be a little bit lighter and a little bit tighter.
Do you have any speed guns or technology equipment?
We do not have that here. No.
Okay. So what does the trainer help the swimmer with?
Well, the coaches here do a number of different things. Primarily they're looking to get the swimmer to reach a certain heart rate during practice, challenge different energy systems in the practice. You don't want to be hitting the same endurance and same muscle systems over and over again day after day, so they change up the strokes, they change the intervals, the time in between, the amount of rest. Sometimes the sets are endurance sets where they'll swim or kick for long periods of time. Sometimes they'll focus on speed, short burst, real fast action.
Is there a significant difference on your performance with the current competitive swimwear and without?
Well, when you talk about the evolution of the changes in technology in swimwear, the most significant thing to happen in history was the invention of the goggle, because that allowed the swimmers to stay in the water and train for longer time without the eye irritation. And that didn't happen until 1972. And goggles pretty much haven't changed that much since that time. But they've allowed the amount of time that swimmers can train in comfort without eye irritation. That was a major revolution in the sport. But if you look back in 1972 when Mark Spitz was racing in the Olympics when he won 7 gold medals, he wasn't wearing goggles, because it really hadn't become something you wore that much in competition. It was a training aid. In the 1980s, the emphasis switched from technology about improving how the swimmers train to the performance side, and they wanted to start to increase their speed at competition at the time they were competing. So they started developing very ultra lightweight suits that they actually called paper suits, that you only wore once in competition. It was so thin that after you put it on and took it off, it was pretty much worthless. So what you saw with the full body suits in 2008 in Beijing and somewhat in 2004 in Athens were composites of textiles, which were woven fabrics, and like rubber that was sealed or melted onto the textile, and that allowed for extra buoyancy and lift. And FINA determined that that was an unfair advantage if everyone wasn't wearing or had access to the same technology, and that led to them being banned in 2010.
So did your swimmers train with the full body suits before?
No, they only would have worn them during competition.
And is there a significant difference between the bodysuits they had before and the current competitive suits?
There is. For the man, the suit cannot come above the navel or go below the knee. And for the female, their shoulders cannot be covered and also can't go below the knee. The function of those suits, and you'll see the men wearing the longer suits in competition as opposed to the shorter suits in practice, and the reason for that is compression. And they found that actually the compressing parts of the body allows for better circulation during high performance and allows for better movement and circulation of the blood and less muscle fatigue. So.
Do you ever train with them today?
No, we don't train with them.
Did you feel psychological effects on your swimmers after they were banned?
I think since it was banned for everybody, it kind of led to the sense of a leveling of the playing field. That everybody now had the same either advantage or disadvantage of wearing or not wearing the suit. So I don't think it was a letdown as much as it was kind of, it's all fair for everyone now. There's an equal chance to, it's what you do in the training and in your nutrition and in your sleep and everything else that leads to the successful performance at a swim meet. Putting on a magic suit isn't gonna, if you haven't done the work, it's not gonna do anything,
Yeah. Do your swimmers feel physically weaker with the current technology and equipment?
I don't think so, because I don't think they're relying on the suit as kind of, because you had, these suits would cost $300, $400 for the men, sometimes up to $600, $700. And I just think that when you have a 12-year-old kid buying this suit, but they don't eat well, they don't sleep well, they're overweight, they don't work hard in practice, but their parents are going to buy them a $700 suit, and then suddenly they're going to get better. It was kind of a joke, and now that they're not around, the kids know that they have to put the work in practice. There's no magic bullet that they can get or super suit that's going to make them swim faster.
So what do you think about what is your opinion on the evolution of technology in sports?
Well, I think in swimming you saw a perfect example of how the drive to get the better and better performance suit led to swimmers wearing some suits that gave them a sizable advantage because of its buoyancy. If you have a body in water, it's meeting resistance. The more of that body you can get up into the air, the less resistance, the faster they can go. So people were wearing some of these suits that were almost, I considered, like wetsuits, that you just could lay in the water and float. You didn't have to do anything. You just were on top of the water. Then you start moving, and it led to an advantage, and I think a disadvantage to those who weren't wearing them. So I think that you saw the evolution go to a point, and then everybody said, "Whoa, let's bring it back to here." And I think that for swimming, it was an important lesson to learn, and an important lesson, for technology in any area, whether it's listening into people's phones or using the technology we have with the drones now. At some point it goes beyond where everybody's comfortable, and there has to be kind of a check. The society has to rein it in, and FINA reined it in 2010. People are still breaking world records. People are going to break those records that were set in those suits. It's just going to take some time and a lot of hard training.
Do you believe that the athletes have reached their maximum capacity in sports?
No.
No.
No, because I think there's always going to be, one thing about, even if you talk to a gold medalist, even after a world record performance, they know that there were some things they could have done better. And that's one of the things that we, at the North Baltimore Aquatic Club, we are constantly telling our athletes, is there's always room for improvement. Even if it's a world record swim, there's always something you can do better. You're never going to be perfect, but in striving to be perfect, you can be excellent. And that's what we try to teach our swimmers here, is to be as excellent as they can be.
Do you think that technology helps the athlete or destroys them?
I think it can help. It certainly helped. As an example with goggles, it allowed them to stay in the water and train longer. I think the emphasis on performance suits went a little bit too far and led too many people to rely on the suit instead of their training. I think that if there could be some more technological advances in training, that is definitely an area where there's improvement. I don't think they can do much more with the performance suits, which you wear in the meets. But the kids tend to wear heavier suits in practice because it creates more drag and it makes them work harder. So, there's a lot of things that they can do with video, underwater video, and using, applying the concepts of hydrophysics and physics to improve swimming performance. And I think they're constantly trying to do that.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.